What's going on, everybody? This is the CinqBoys podcast.
CinqBoys.
Back at it again with another recaps episode. I think a good way to describe the NFL so far is disappointing. Is that fair?
Sure.
I mean, the best quarterbacks in the league, instead of being, your Burrows, your Josh Allen's, your Lamar Jackson, the run-of-the-mill guys that we've become accustomed to, we're talking more about Derek Carr and Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold. Guys that were pretty much written off at one point or another in their career. All of a sudden, they are, the hot topic when it comes to quarterback play. So it's been rough.
Well, it's a case-by-case basis. The NFL is a beautiful sport. And who's your comeback player of the year right now?
Comeback? The guy who was injured?
Or, guy that was, not really playing, but is now playing.
Is it Darnold? I don't really know what you're saying, dude.
He's mine right now.
Yuck. I'm ready to move into the games. I really don't like that at all. I don't want to talk about that.
Well, you brought up a couple names there, and it's like, yeah, you brought up Burrow and Jackson, and it's like we had reservations entering the season for both of those guys. You said Allen. He's top three, still top three.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, the class that we once knew seems like it's dead and gone. Of course, that's an extreme overreaction after 2 weeks of fucking football.
But outside of the top five guys we always talk about, Baker and Derek Carr fall right into that category of guys that have been around the block.
And you could say Sam Darnold's been around the block too, not as a starter necessarily, but he has. This is his seventh year.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna get into it, but like, I think Darnold is having an okay season. Like, good. He's having a decent quarterback season so far. It's not like good, but like he's among like the middle class right now of the NFL quarterback. And it's just, we're talking about him a lot because it's surprising. But Derek Carr and Baker are definitely like on the top right now.
Yeah, and having Justin Jefferson on your team definitely helps, regardless of who else is on that roster. All right, let's get into it. We're going to start basically in the most perfect result for us as Giants fans, with a 21-18 loss to the Commanders. DJ returned to baseline competency. Is that the word?
Sure, I know what you mean.
Where you're basically just not losing us the game, getting first downs. The unfortunate part for people that wanted the Giants to win was that Graham Gano goes down on the first play of the game. They got a kickoff return, and he's trying to chase the guy down and fucking pulls his hammy or something.
Apparently, it was brought up to me. I don't pay attention to the Giants' injury reports, apparently. I don't know why I don't, but a lot of diehard Giants fans in the office, and Tommy was telling me that they reported he had a groin issue earlier in the week.
Yikes. Yeah, didn't see that at all. Unless we see somebody exit a game, I don't know about any injuries. Like you just said, like we're not paying attention to the pregame injury reports for the Giants. But that happens, and then on their first touchdown, I believe it was, they had the punter go out there and try to kick an extra point. He was way off. So they basically abandoned the whole kicker idea. So the Giants, they were moving the ball well. Washington's defense is absolutely fucking terrible. Malik Neighbors had his breakout game, 10 catches, 127, and a touchdown. But at the end of the day, it came down to, it was, tie game, 18-18. And the Giants were driving. They go for it on 4th and 4. And Malik Neighbors, of all people, drops the ball. Absolutely unbelievable stuff. That definitely would have been a position where they would have kicked a field goal at that point. And the other part of it is they scored 3 touchdowns and didn't get any extra points or 2-point conversions. So that at that point, they would have been up 21-18 anyway, and they would have pushed it to 24-18 if they had a kicker. Neither of those things happened. And then they give the ball back to fucking Washington at the 35-yard line. They just walk down the field and win the game. So, I mean, what we saw. Go ahead.
I don't know. This is kind of dumb sidebar, but I feel like the Giants always find themselves in this impossible situation where it's like 4th and 3. We're going to run the out route to Malik. But how much space does he have? What yard line were we on?
Dude, that was actually a stop and go back shoulder. That was like there's an angle where you could see actually what route he ran, and for whatever reason they were running like, I guess that's called cover 2, where like the corner is going to cover the flat and the safety has him over the top. Is that what that is? So
Yeah.
he runs the stop and go, but the stop is like 4 yards in, and he just like releases, and he's open, but then he sees the safety over the top, and he stops and settles on the sideline. And that's when DJ rolls out and sees him and throws it. I mean, it could have been a little bit more at his chest because he was standing still, but like,
nah, dude, that was
it was a good throw.
That was a good throw. That was a good route. He was open. Like, I know you just described the route like it was kind of like bad, but maybe you didn't. But like,
No, he found the spot in the zone.
It was just a dropped pass.
Mm-hmm.
My point is that like, how much space did he have? Where were we? I feel like we were on like, if he caught that ball, we were inside like the 10. Am I way off?
I think we were inside the 20 if he caught that ball, but there was 3 minutes left. And it's like
other teams in that situation aren't as far up the field. They have so much more space to use, more routes to run, more space to be able to push the safeties back. I don't know. We end up in that situation, tight yardage, don't get it done. Jaden Daniels cuts us up all game long with the run. We thought we put him out with the double rookie sandwich. Drew Phillips planting his helmet into Jaden Daniels' rib cage. Comes back, guy's tough. Guy's bigger than I thought, can take hits. He threw a billion screen passes. They got first downs. They got down the field. Our defense, bend don't break, but we didn't have a kicker, and we still fucking lost the game. First team ever to score 3 touchdowns, not let up a touchdown, and lose.
Yeah, Washington's kicker ends up with 7 field goals, all of their points. 2 things I want to note. The Giants, between the screen passes and Washington running the ball, they pretty much allowed Washington to walk up and down the field all game. But Washington was 0 for 6 in the red zone. 0 for 6. I mean, obviously they didn't score a touchdown in the game, but they got to the red zone 6 times and didn't score. And then the Giants did sack Jaden Daniels 5 times and definitely affected other plays. So the 2 good things is that the red zone and the pressure. You know, you can't really, if you have those, it's better to have those things than to not, obviously.
And just another positive, like bend don't break. I think our defense looked solid. If we play like that against any offense, I think we have a good chance of winning the game. That's A. B, offensively, I don't care what kicker problems we ended up having. We've seen enough Daniel Jones games where he just loses us the game. He had 2 passing touchdowns and no turnovers. I'm taking that as a massive win for, just like how well we played. I think we played well. I think we played a good game. We should have beat them. That's a bad defense. We didn't have a kicker.
Seems like an absolutely perfect game for any Giants fan that knows that this ain't the year and that Daniel Jones isn't our future. Because we get the loss in the record. We see Daniel Jones play competent enough for him to start more games in the future down the line. Like, they're not going to pull him after a game like that. I mean, we're playing the Browns next week, so it's probably going to be a different story. But, like, this game at least pushed the needle in the direction of playing Daniel Jones. Because I think you and me both agree if Drew Lock or Tommy DeVito play, we're probably going to get more competent quarterback play, and we're probably going to win more games. You know, the Giants won 7 games last year, 6.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement that if Tommy DeVito sees the field, we have a better chance of winning than any other quarterback being on the field, which is insane. But I think like that's the majority of the Giants fan base is on the same page with that.
So one thing that you can't just get rid of is an entire defense. And the Giants have built up their defense with enough young talent to where like you want to see as much positive stuff out of the defense as possible this season, regardless of wins or losses. So I think that we got everything that we could possibly ask for out of this Washington game. You know, probably the most winnable game of the season. Jaden Daniels is definitely going to be better in the second matchup, you would think, just based off NFL experience. So this had to be. And Neighbors was amazing. Singletary looked great.
Yeah, dude. We looked solid, man, and it was disappointing that we lost. Definitely, it's a fine line you gotta toe while you're losing games. You're trying to rebuild. You're trying to rebuild that culture. Who knows if Dable survives the season? I know we're only in week 2, but you want to lose games like we're saying. Oh, you want to lose games? Who cares who the draft pick's going to be? You never know. It's like I'd rather have the opportunity to take more guys than less guys.
Quickly before we move on, the conversation throughout the season is going to be, was it the right decision to let go of Saquon, and was it the right decision to draft Malik Neighbors? I think between Neighbors' performance in this one, Singletary's performance in this one, and Saquon dropping that ball on 4th down that we'll get to later, I think that moved that needle closer to Joe Shane and Brian Dable keeping their jobs. Because like what could Mara possibly say in this situation? If we had Saquon, we would have won both these games. Like absolutely fucking not. So,
And dude, Saquon didn't just make that mistake. He fell short on 2 first downs and short of a touchdown.
yeah, dude, you're gonna have to lead the charge on that game. I didn't even fucking watch that game. I'm definitely upset. All right, let's move on. I think the most surprising game of the week, Saints Cowboys. Right? I mean, is it time to? Okay, let's just start with this open-ended question.
Ooh.
Go ahead. Go now. You know what?
Just do numbers really quick.
I have numbers that I was really excited about.
All right, go ahead.
All right, you go. How about we trade off? We trade off because there's definitely a list that you have because I have a list.
Okay.
Ratio of run plays to passes is 76 run plays to 39 passes throughout the first 2 weeks. Go ahead.
Definitely surprising.
Yeah, a Derek Carr team? Yeah, dude. This guy's throwing
but score
18 passes a game.
But score effects.
All right.
21 drives, 11 touchdowns, 5 field goals, 3 punts. 11 for 11 in the first half scoring drives.
I believe, I don't know if this stat is for the Saints as a team or for Derek Carr when he was in the lineup, because they did pull Derek Carr at the end of the week 1 game because they were up by so much. Remember, they were up 47-10 or something like that. Their first 15 drives, they scored points. I don't know if that's with Derek Carr though, because of that fourth quarter stuff in the first week. Derek Carr is 30 for 39 on the season passing. Derek Carr.
The points differential. They did play the Panthers week 1, but 91-29. That's a plus 62.
Yeah, I mean they might hold that lead up until like week 15. That's a extreme jump start on point differential, and point differential is a tiebreaker in terms of playoffs. Fourth team ever with 91 plus points in the first two games. Second time in team history. Team had 37 carries. Dude, the Saints. Last year, they had games of like 8 carries as a team. 37 carries for a $180 and 2 touchdowns versus Carolina. 39 carries, 190 and 4 touchdowns versus Dallas. So I understand that like when you go up by a lot of points, you run the ball more naturally, but
dude, they're
I love
obviously running it up, and they don't have to pass later in the game. It's like 16 pass attempts, and you scored 44 points.
Yeah, but like, dude, they're also like they're up 14-0 in the first quarter.
Mhm.
You still have 3 quarters to play
Play.
there, dude. You're not just running the clock out in the second quarter. They're running it so much. And the first parallel that I can think of is Derek Carr and the Saints were pretty much the same problem as Justin Herbert and the Chargers over the past couple of years. And now both of those teams' OCs just have them running the fuck out of the ball and allowing these quarterbacks to just be game managers. It's awesome, dude. And then
Game managers, but their offensive system allows them to stretch the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So they're bombing it to Rashid Shaheed, a top 5 speed guy in the league. Quentin Johnston, we'll get to that, but yeah, dude, they're absolutely stretching the ball downfield. Olave's making huge catches. Like, they have the guys. Obviously, Alvin Kamara is a huge part of this offense. So how many guys are they running the ball with?
Taysom Hill, Jamal Williams. There was that guy that they drafted last year.
Kendre Miller.
I feel like he's hurt though. I don't know. Dude, on the other side of this, like we could talk about the Saints all day with the stats and all that stuff. What is the panic meter look like for Dallas? Or is there one at all? Sometimes you just run into a team that has it going.
Okay, so both of these have been weird games when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys in history and like what we know, especially when it comes to regular season football. A team like Cleveland, I feel like, with a really good defense last week, you're playing in Cleveland. Like, I feel like that's a game they usually really struggle with. And yeah, Deshaun played like crap, but like usually like Dak is like throwing picks and Denzel Ward's flying around, and it just wasn't that. Dallas kind of ran through them, had no problem. So weird so far. And then this game, like, yeah, Clint Kubiak is absolutely buzzing right now, and the Saints are being historic on offense. But like, this is a team that they're usually able to handle, and they're getting blown out. So, like, are the Saints just the bee's knees? Is that what's happening? Like, could the Cowboys defense be back next week? Like, they looked solid against the Browns. It was Deshaun, but we only have 2 weeks of sample size. I agree. Like, is there a panic meter? I don't know. Like, how bad is it? I don't know. I'm very hesitant to like kind of be like, oh shit, Dallas. Like, they are 1-1. There are teams that are 0-2.
Dude, I think that there's just like clearly there is no way for them to necessarily game plan for the Saints offense. Also, another thing I heard on like 3 podcasts was that the Saints pre-snap motion has been at insane levels. It's like every single pre-snap there's a guy in motion. Sometimes there's 2 or 3 guys. And it's just like how much information can you gather about what the defense is about to do based off sending a guy from one side of the field to the other? And it's just like you have that. You have an experienced quarterback in Derek Carr, and you have guys that can fucking make things happen, dude. Taysom Hill and Alvin Kamara are both absolute Swiss Army knives. and then you have a number one receiver in Chris Olave, and you have a burner in Shaheed. And then you have two bodies at tight end that are available for plays in the red zone in short yardage situations. They have a lot more than what we've ever given them credit for in terms of what they have at their disposal.
Well, I think it's a perfect storm a little bit with the Shaheed stuff. Like, he's been extremely productive so far. I think he already has 2 50-plus yard touchdowns. Um, like, that's kind of a perfect storm. Like, that guy's kind of like a punt returner that turned into like, wow, we don't have bodies at receiver. You're really fast. Okay. Oh my God, he's actually turning into an NFL receiver. And he's a burner, like you said. It's kind of a perfect storm like that. Olave finally shaping up into being a number one receiver. Everything's kind of coming together. Your point on the pre-snap motions. So when we were playing high school football, I remember like beginning of the summer, it was like install like the offense. You kind of, whether you were a freshman and you learned it the first year, you learning it every year. Like by the time you got to senior year, you could know it, but the team is always going at the rate of the team when it comes to installing the offense. So we didn't have a lot of our like really like complex plays until like week like 4 or 5. That's when we were running like the jet sweep pass, and I had a 35-yard 4th and 20 completion in a Rob Ray shout out. Anyway, we had so anyway, my point here is the Saints having all this pre-snap motion, all these plays, that tells me that they're super connected, they're super on the same page, they're moving quicker than way more than most offenses in the NFL when it comes to installing the offense, getting all on the same page, all learning it like the back of our hand. I'm surprised if they're like this all year, because it's just going to get more and more. When you do pre-snap motion, it is so hard to figure out what the offense is going to do, because it is just reacting every single play. Okay, they have this certain look. 2 seconds before the snap, oh shit. Totally different look every play.
Totally different look. And say you have the slot receiver move from the left side to the right side. Like you go from like a doubles set, 4 receivers, 2 on each side, and then you move one guy over, and now you have trips. And it's like in that 2 seconds, you have to identify like, oh, they ran a screen on that trip play. Okay, there's that part of it in terms of what you were saying. But then when you move that guy over, dude, if there's a fucking safety or a linebacker or a nickel corner that follows that guy across the field, now you know that they're in at least man to some degree. And then having an experienced quarterback like Derek Carr that understands a pro style offense and how to read that stuff, dude, it's just. And the thing is, dude, this guy got hired this year. This is some extremely advanced management of time resources to be able to install this type of shit this early. Now, my thing is, what's going to happen first? The rest of the NFL catches on to what they're doing, or are they going to be able to adapt and add on to what they already have? What's going to happen faster, Are this like how long can the Saints put on this absolute like just blindsiding teams?
Okay, so the pre-snap motion, it's been done before. So I'm gonna stick to my point about like how quickly they brought it in, because other teams are gonna catch up this year with that kind of stuff, but it's just like how quickly they've already gotten it in. I think they're gonna be able to advance it. It's gonna get more and more complex, but the stuff we're seeing here isn't complex. The plays that they're running, they're scoring on streaks, they're going for long runs. Like, it's not like they're running like flea flickers and jet sweep passes and crazy stuff. It's regular offense. It's just they're just very on the same page. They're going to be able to advance it. I don't think it's anything like crazy though, is kind of my point.
I think for Dallas too, I think that this is just a similar situation as like it was for them in the Green Bay game, where it was just like such a fucking avalanche, and it's just like how good can your defense be once you're down 21 points? Like, and you're just in that hole. And you could say the same thing about the Rams and the Cardinals this week. Or who was it? Was it Rams Cardinals?
Yeah.
Yeah, they went down fucking 21-0 immediately. It's like you can't really do much about that. All right.
And they lost Cup in the process. We'll get to it.
Next game, Bucks at Lions. Bucks sneak one out 20-16. Tampa Bay holding Detroit to 16 points on the road is impressive, but it's about how they did it. Detroit ran 83 plays, gained 463 yards, and they basically had twice as many plays, yards, rush yards, and pass yards as the Bucks. But Tampa Bay held Detroit, which is widely regarded as a top 3 offense, especially in the red zone, to 1-7 in the red zone, 1-4-7 in the red zone, and Detroit finished with 3 turnovers. So, Detroit finished their last 3 drives were 3 turnovers, a pick and 2 turnover on downs, and they all ended inside of Tampa Bay's 30-yard line, and they all happened while they were down 4 points. So, as much as we would love to give Baker credit, the defense played out of their fucking minds in this one.
Yeah. John Middlecoff thinks Todd Bowles is a really, really, really good defensive coach, and I think they got the horses this year. Talk about a really balanced team. Now, we always talk about offense. Is their run game good versus their pass game? Are they good at one versus the other? Same thing with defense, pass game versus run game. The Bucks are really balanced. Not that they have a good pass game, run game. They have a good pass defense, run defense. They have a good defense. They have a good, solid defense that can stop the run in between the tackles. They shut down David Montgomery for 11 for 35. They gave up a touchdown to him, but that's pretty good for David Montgomery. And then they can cover. They can play. They kept them out of the end zone in the pass game. Jared Goff went off for 300 plus, but they didn't let him score a passing touchdown. And then on offense, try to stop them in the pass game. I mean, they kind of did, but they kind of didn't. Baker didn't go off, but he did enough.
Yeah, I wrote Baker didn't have the best day through the air. 12 for 19, 185, a touchdown, a pick. But where I give Baker the most credit is this 11-yard scramble with an absolute nasty Caucasian juke on 3rd and 4. This guy, like his whole body, dude, his whole body swings to the right. Linebacker actually goes flying in the opposite direction. He picks up the first down. And then I don't know if he called it himself or the OC, but the very next play, he's like, fuck it. Takes the snap from the shotgun, tucks it, QB draw in the red zone, jukes like 3 guys, Baker style. He's not shaking these guys out of their shoes, but, avoids 3 guys. Dudes are blocking for him, and he scores, dude. And that was at the end of the 3rd quarter, and it ended up being the game-winning fucking touchdown. Unbelievable game, probably to watch. It's just one of those games, dude, where it's in the 1:00 slate, and you just wish that you had a room full of TVs and that you could just lock in and watch one game. But
dude, that's one of those things where it's like when I retire or if I get enough money where I don't have to work, it's just going to be watching full football games, one after the other.
Yeah, count me in. The reason why I like giving Baker credit in this situation too, like I wrote in my final note, Baker is as dangerous as he's ever been, because I feel like as a leader, he has this team fucking flying around. He doesn't play on the defense, but I guarantee you he's got some fucking words for those guys, and that he's in everybody's ear on that team, fucking getting them going. So, Bucks.
That run game is the only thing he can't get going, besides with his own legs. Yeah. 10 for 18 for Rachaad White. 18 yards on the ground. I wonder how many negative rushes he had. And then Bucky Irving had 7 for 22. They can't run the ball, dude. They can't run the ball.
I mean,
That's a
maybe they figured out.
1.8 and a just over a 3.
I mean, I guess it's not a problem until it's a problem. Detroit is really good against the run, and I'm sure that they'll have games that they run the ball better. But dude, Tampa was a 7.5 point underdog in this game, and they fucking win. Like, dude, I took, like I think I said on the podcast, I definitely said on the podcast, I like Atlanta to win, and they were 5.5 point dogs. And then I definitely was on the Buccaneers to cover, but it's just one of those games where it's like they were within one possession in that playoff game last year. And that playoff game was Detroit's first one, right? Detroit's first one in like 30 years.
No, that was the
Oh,
second
that
one.
was the second one. You're right. You're right. Either way, dude, it was fresh off of that game, and they only lost by one possession. They had the ball with a chance to win. And as much as I think that Detroit improved, I think Baker and the Buccaneers were ready to go in this one.
Yeah, I definitely had my Detroit bias. I'm going to be, I think, just the guy that doubts Detroit, even though everybody wants them to succeed. They are a good guy story, a good guy team. There's really no assholes on that team at all. Really likable roster. But I think their deficiencies are not. They're gonna hold them back from winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah, they also beat up on a lot of bad teams last year. Their schedule was super easy, and the teams that made the playoffs last year, I'm pretty sure they had a sub 500 record in the regular season against those guys. So there definitely are holes, and they definitely can be beaten. As much as we want to all believe that, like, Aiden Hutchinson had fucking 5 sacks in this fucking game, dude. Like they got some dogs on the defensive end,
Mhm.
and their offense is absolutely loaded. But they will lose games. Let's move on. We're 30 minutes in. We've covered 3 games. Colts Packers. Yeah, by far the most disappointing. Like whatever. Like I would have put my life savings on the Colts because of what I know about Malik Willis, but apparently nobody that was in any meeting rooms or nobody in the Colts organization understands that Malik Willis can't throw the football, and that they were going to run 50 fucking times in this game. They just couldn't. They just couldn't stop the fucking run, dude. That's the story of the game. They couldn't stop the run. And Anthony Richardson is definitely super fucking raw. There's 2 things that we learned. Indianapolis doesn't watch film on the other team's offense or quarterbacks, and Anthony Richardson is super raw. This guy had like 30 pass yards going into the fucking fourth quarter. Are you fucking serious, dude? This is a walk in, walk out of the stadium win for your team. And you're fucking blowing the shit out of it.
Dude, Matt LaFleur continues to impress me.
Fuck that. No, no. Fuck the Packers in this game, dude. As much as I want to be a fan of the Packers, fuck the Packers in this game. They were supposed to lose.
You can't say that. I can't say that. Yeah, dude. 6 different guys had 2+ carries.
And guys are getting tired of running every play. Yeah.
That's finding a way to win. Matt LaFleur. You don't have your quarterback. You brought in a guy that can't complete a pass, and he went 12 for 14 for 122. Had a passing touchdown. We thought was impossible. Yeah, he basically, like, dude, this was the lock of all locks. We thought if anybody was going to run on anybody, it was going to be Indy running at Green Bay. And JT had a day, 12 for 100 plus.
Yeah, dude, what are they doing not handing that guy the ball every fucking play? Anthony Richardson can't complete a fucking pass. Unbelievable,
AR had
dude.
3 picks. Like, just hurting yourself.
Piece of shit.
10 points in the game.
Yeah, dude, really disappointed. And this is a game that I'm not gonna overreact to, dude. Like, and it's like, what would I have done last year? I'm so big on like, oh, this guy had 16 carries for 120 yards. He had an 80-yard run. So really, what happened? He broke out for one play, and the rest of the game he couldn't fucking get anywhere. I should have recognized that week 1 against the fucking Texans, Anthony Richardson had 3 passes for 50 yards, and the rest of the game they couldn't do shit. I should have been able to see that, dude. I should have been able to see that there will be games that he just can't get it done, and that he really didn't get it done in week 1 outside of 2 or 3 plays. I
Okay,
should have
so the Colts are unbettable
unbettable.
because of that reason. Yeah, he's going to pop off, but he's just going to bring you back in every time. Dude, I said it last game. They're going to be explosive.
Who?
And the Colts. And they didn't have that explosive factor. It seems like that's got to be part of the reason that they're going to put up points in certain games is they're going to have long touchdowns. And if they don't have that going for them, it's going to be tough going, tough sledding, and they're going to have to win by running the football. And you just can't do that when you're down 10-0 going into the second half.
Dude, my rules for the Colts are going to be who's the head coach on the other team? Number 1. Who is are they willing to run the ball 30 times? And dude, their matchup next week is the Bears. Who do you think is favored? What do you think the line is?
The Colts are definitely favored, and it's probably like 3.5.
It's 1.5. And dude, I feel like I'm not overreacting. The Bears defense,
Yeah, they're good.
especially their secondary, can fucking lock those guys up. Especially when your best receiver is like a slower version of Devontae Adams and Mike Evans, where he's just he's not special at anything. And then your 2 other receivers, their tight ends are terrible. Like the Colts, I mean, dude, if they can stop the run with Jonathan Taylor, Caleb Williams is going to come around eventually. Who did they play this week? The Texans. Dude, Caleb Williams is going to have a big week next week. I promise.
They held the Texans to 19 points.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm on the Bears. A little sneak peek to next week.
Note.
All right.
Convinced me. Wait, let me see. Yeah, the Colts are just fighting through quicksand in this game. AR had 50%. Yeah, dude, Green Bay didn't let up a touchdown until the 4th quarter. Matt LaFleur got those guys buzzing, especially that defense. I mean, I know AR can trip over himself a lot, but yeah, to win a game with scoring 16 points and running the ball, like you said, 50 times, yeah, that's a good win. It's a great win.
Yeah. All right, Jets at Titans. Jets sneak this one out 24-17. Should have been, the should have beens. I'm tired of saying should have been because it just means that I was wrong. I didn't pick this game right because the Jets covered, but I was still wrong. Are the Jets trying to cater to an Aaron Rodgers offense, or do they think they don't have a lot to work with? Outside of Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, and Braylon Allen, the only other action was to 4 wide receivers for 5 catches total for 44 yards total. As good as Wilson, Hall, Allen are, they aren't a team of explosive opportunities in the schematics. It's a lot of it's like Will Levis last year, dude. It's babysitting, and you're babysitting one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever fucking play the game. It's all slant screens, running back screens, not a sophisticated running game plan. It's super underwhelming as to what they're.
Dude, it's like you're spelling out the effect, but it's like you're blind to the reason or the cause. The cause.
Is it Hackett? Is that what you're getting at?
No, it's Rodgers cannot move his legs.
Dude, I think that they're protecting
racked. He's getting rocked.
It's probably a combination of both, dude. I'm definitely not wrong. They're catering the offense to protecting him.
No, I agree. I'm saying no. You're 100% right. I'm saying the reason that they're doing that, quick passes, screens. He can't move. He can't get away. But he's getting rocked, dude. I was watching that game. He's recognizing pressure, doing the Daniel Jones quick steps, and then just getting drilled.
It's whatever fucking bullshit Super Bowl dreams Jets fans and Jets country like had of this Aaron Rodgers experiment. There's no fucking way that that's going to happen, dude. They're struggling with bad teams, and it's not like it's just going to click into place at one point. Like like the offenses that are winning Super Bowl and playoff games they are extremely versatile, vertically, just vertical pass game, sophisticated run game. Just, dude, I just don't see it with the Jets at all, and I wouldn't be surprised if they not only miss the playoffs but are sub 500 at this point.
So they're having some injuries on the back end. Jermaine Johnson got carted off.
Yikes.
Like he's okay. It's not like he had like a neck or brain injury or anything. What's it called? Like I think he's out for the season. Yikes! I described that horribly. He had a lower body injury. I think he's out for the season. Their cornerback, the second guy, Michael Carter,
Reed?
they gave him like a $12 or $15 million deal a year this year, and he like hurt his ankle, and he's going to be dealing with that all year. What's it called, dude? They needed to go and get another receiver. They needed to go and get like Devontae or something. Really go and try to went and go and push for that. They didn't do that. They needed more protection. Everybody was talking about how this O-line is definitely going to be good enough. That's crazy. I don't remember anybody saying how the Jets O-line was good. I think AVT gets so much love. But like John Middlecoff was talking about, you got a couple guys that are stand in the pocket guys now that need a lot of protection and a bunch of weapons. Like Kirk is the prime example of that. The guy can't move at all.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's just, it feels like they're shorthanded. I agree. They're running a quick pass offense. Get rid of it. Crazy, dude. Crazy that their third leading receiver in receptions and yards was Braylon Allen. It's insane.
Yeah, and it's going to be hard to mix both of those guys in unless you split one of them out wide, or if they mix it up and go with the dual back set. I mean, that would be a lot to handle. That's something that seems like a good idea because
those guys are both bodies.
Breece Hall, yeah, dude, Breece Hall is fucking phenomenal. There's a reason he was drafted top 3 in like every fantasy league. That dude is super talented, and then Braylon Allen is an absolute fucking unit that apparently can also be a receiver. So there's that part of it. For the Titans, I mean, they hung in. They really just hung in. But what I wrote was not one unit, be it like O-line, run game, pass game, defense, not one unit stands out as potential for like an identity. This team just like kind of is scraping by with everything, and they're kind of in these games, but they're going to play better teams down the road and get absolutely fucking smoked. Maybe the Titans, Jets, and Bears are all in the same tier range of about 7-10 or so. That's my prediction as of right
now. Will Levis, 5 turnovers to start the season.
Oh, I thought you meant in this game.
That reaction was pretty good. He's killing drives, killing momentum. It seems like every time he has one of these fall apart situations, they're like in the red zone, or they're going to score, or it's a pivotal point in the game. That fumble, that lateral roll play. Did you see him before he let go of the ball? He was like falling down, hurtling over somebody. Jesus Christ, dude. And we both are partial to him because we both think that he has the toolkit to get the job done eventually. It's all between the ears. It's just, he is killing them with these mistakes. He is killing them. They scored a TD on the second drive, 10 plays, 72 yards. Third drive before the fumble play, he threw an interception.
Yeah, I mean,
oh no, it was right after the fumble play. They drove down 10 plays, 72 yards, fumble play. Next drive, first play, interception.
Yeah, massive yikes. A bunch of the podcasts I listen to now, there's guys coming out of the woodwork saying that the Falcons are absolute geniuses for drafting Penix. Like basically they're saying, wouldn't every single team in the league prefer to have a veteran quarterback starting and to have a very, very competent rookie quarterback behind him just learning? Like, wouldn't everybody want that? Like, of course. So yeah, the Falcons are in a good spot. And then I keep seeing this Tom Brady clip from last year where he said that playing football, you go to a college for a program. Now people go to a college and learn a playbook. So instead of spending 4 years at a college and being developed professionally and learning all of the different skills in terms of reading things on the football field, these guys are just learning a playbook for that season and they're not developing their football IQs and situational awareness. So like these quarterbacks, not only are they going through that in college, that they're actually starting in week one in the team that they got drafted to, and they're just completely thrown into the fire and they have absolutely no chance. So
What do you think about like a guy like Travis Hunter when you think about that?
Travis Hunter, he's a positional player. That's just raw skill. You get that guy on the field as soon as you possibly can.
Yeah, that's
He's
what
a
I'm
fucking alien.
just like that's what I'm thinking. It's just like that guy is just exposing himself to every potential situation. And he's gonna be ready for the NFL.
Yeah, I'm really just talking about quarterbacks, I guess.
Okay.
Like Bryce
Oh,
Young.
he's saying that about just quarterbacks. I was
Yeah.
thinking about like any position.
No, I mean every other position on the field, they have just like their job. And like, what else could you possibly learn but your job? You know, some guys literally just rush the passer. Some guys literally
Okay, so
just cover. Like,
okay, so whose fault are we gonna put that on? Because at this point, to me, the way we're laying it out, it seems like it's each individual college coach and their system that they run. Because
dude,
if you're
is it
like,
fair? Good.
because if you're like Navy, no, that's a bad example. If you're like, I don't know who.
I think all the colleges are the same when it comes to this stuff.
No, but like some of them run West Coast, some of them run like the power run, some of them run. It's like when I play college. No, dude, I'm not even gonna come up with these examples
All right,
because
here's something. How about
I
JJ
don't know
McCarthy?
why these coaches don't just run what their guys can potentially run. Why don't they
That's
just
what
run
Tom
the
Brady is
playbook?
saying, is that these guys are that the NFL has been dumbed down so much because these guys don't come in with the right amount of like knowledge that the coaches just end up catering to what they already know instead of coaching them up to something that they can be. And then that makes me think about Jim Harbaugh and JJ McCarthy. Like JJ McCarthy is probably going to be a successful quarterback in the NFL because he was probably developed. Look at what Jim Harbaugh has done with Justin Herbert already in fucking 2 weeks. The Chargers are not going to be an easy team to beat, especially once they have 10, 12, 15 weeks under their belt with this partnership between those two
He's
guys.
a good
There's a
play.
reason why Justin Herbert is still in a lot of people's top five in terms of quarterback. That guy is fucking super talented. And now he's getting the game manager aspect of his game on his side with Herbert, with Harbaugh. Dude, that team is going to be fucking good next year. Um, all right, let's move on to the 49ers and the Vikings. Vikings win 23-17.
49ers didn't play very 49ery. First half, punt, blocked punt. That's very not 49ery. And then two drives in a row where they go fourth and out. They go on turnover on downs. And then after they got an interception on defense, they scored a touchdown. And they were down 13-7 at half.
Somehow the Vikings are Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan's kryptonite. Or maybe it's Brian Flores. because they lost the game last year and they lost the game this year. And Brian Flores was the DC for both of those games. I think he was with the Dolphins the year before that, or maybe not in the NFL for a year. Yeah, 49ers couldn't get it going until the late fourth. They did cut it to 6 points, but then Minnesota started a drive with 10 minutes left and kicked a field goal to make it a two-possession game with 3 minutes left. So the 49ers were able to get something going late and kick a field goal to cut it to one possession again, but by the time they got the ball back, there was absolutely, or they didn't get the ball back, one of those. There was just no time.
No, yeah, the Vikings ran the clock out, but and there was like no time, but like you'd think that they would come out firing on all cylinders in the second half, the 49ers, and they started off with a punt, interception, fumble.
Okay. Yeah, Purdy's stats, I mean, 28 for 36, 319 and a touchdown. You're definitely thinking that you're putting up some points with those numbers. And Jordan Mason running for 100 yards. You know, you would, on 20 carries, 5 yards per carry, you would think that they had more than fucking 17 points. But I guess between the turnovers and the little mistakes, it just never came together for them. Sam Darnold fired up in the locker room after the game. You shouldn't have fucking cut me. That was the quote. So, I don't know. Good for that guy. I mean, Justin Jefferson hurt his quad, left in the third quarter. We'll see how that plays out for the rest of the year. Even if he does play next week, you know, lower leg injury or lower body injuries normally hang around. So, especially for a guy that explosive. Yeah, Vikings are one of those 2-0 teams where you're just not sure if it's going to last. What do you think?
So they're getting the competent quarterback play from Sam Darnold. I think the unsung hero is the defense so far.
100%.
Their defense has been playing super, super solid. You'd think that they'd be going in the opposite direction if they lost Danielle Hunter, but they're making plays all over the field. They're stopping the offenses from scoring, dude. They're getting explosive plays on offense. They're getting it done on the ground. Ty Chandler with 10 for 82. They were 24 for 146 as a team. That's getting it done on the ground. And yeah, dude, the Niners had crazy numbers. They just kept turning the ball over.
Yeah, sometimes you just have one of those games where it just doesn't seem to fucking work out. I don't think any differently of the 49ers.
But I think we need to respect the Vikings a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, dude. I'm definitely with you on that. Sorry, I just don't have anything more about that game. I believe in the 49ers moving forward.
Touchdown. And he had a quad injury after. But he said himself that he's playing next week, so we'll see.
Seattle Seahawks at the New England Patriots. I do not understand what's going on in New England at all. I mean, Jacoby Brissett, I know that, you know, he's had some nice little winning stretches with Indianapolis, with the Browns, but like it's not real and it's not going to last. Like what they lost this game, but they beat Cincinnati in week 1, so they've had two of the best, like their team has had one of the best first 2 weeks in the NFL. And it just doesn't make any sense to me. They're just running the shit out of the ball. Hunter Henry is 70% of their passing offense in this one. And then the Seahawks, 0 run game in this one. And DK and JSN combined for 30 targets, 22 catches, and 146 yards. 246 yards. And they barely scraped by New England. So, like, okay, these are 2 questions I have. 1 question, actually, for you. Are the Seahawks actually good, or did they just happen to play 2 of the worst teams in the NFL in the first 2 weeks between the Broncos and the Patriots?
And didn't really beat them up.
Yeah, won by combined 9 points.
No, I mean, they were without their star running back in this one. I think he would have helped a lot. They definitely have issues stopping the run. If the Seahawks, you have to classify their defense, I'd definitely say a passing defense. Yeah, dude, those two running backs, I think I wrote down 32 for 177 and a touchdown. 32 carries for two guys. That's like the Packers. Just we're gonna run the ball. And Jacoby's not turning the ball over. He's not
Game
having
manager.
really negative plays. And the Seahawks have to rely on Geno to move the ball in this kind of game. I think all around, Geno had a great game. Everything worked out for everybody. This is just like the Giants game with Washington. It's like the Patriots don't want to be winning games. They played pretty well.
Well, the Patriots are in a different situation too. They have a rookie head coach and a quarterback that they just drafted, but you want to build a culture this year. It's not like the Giants where like, oh, we might not have the same coach next year. Culture is going to be important for the Giants if they continue to have Brian Dable, and actually culture in general should be important because regardless, they're on the up and up.
If Drake May's ready to go next year, the Patriots could be ready to go because you
That's a hot
finish bottom 10 in the league, you get a top 10 pick. Dude, you know there's going to be another couple aliens coming out at receiver next year.
Yeah, I would draft 2 receivers in the first 2 rounds if I was.
And they already have Polk. Like I think he's going to be a really good receiver, really reliable.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, dude, my takeaways from this game: Seahawks have proven nothing at all, and that the Patriots are frisky and they're going to be like the Falcons or the Steelers from last year, where it just they'll find a way to win some random games. Definitely the ones that you pick against them on, and it's going to piss us off. And that's it. I'm not going to get deeper into it. What are we going to fucking give this guy the coach of the year for them winning 6 games? Like I don't care about either of these teams. I don't think either of these teams is going to have an impact on my life at all in the next.
I need to, in my brain, kind of respect the Patriots a little bit more. So,
all right, Chargers at Panthers. Chargers win 26-3. Obliteration. Chargers through 2 weeks have the number 1 scoring defense in the NFL after having the 29th scoring defense last year. So, I mean, they did play 2 bad teams in the Raiders and the Panthers, but it's the NFL. Anything can happen, and they're doing a hell of a job on defense, allowing only 13 points so far. Herbert less than 30 pass attempts for 2 straight games, first time in his career. Yeah, like we said before, Harbaugh turning this guy into a game manager. 14 for 20, 75%, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. Did throw a pick, but that's all you need from that guy because they ran the ball 44 times for 219 yards. They're running the fuck out of the ball, dude. We knew they were going to do it. They're doing it, and they're winning games easily. J.K. Dobbins, another surprise, fucking huge week, 17 for 131 and a touchdown with a long touchdown again. Quentin Johnson seems to be finding his own. Jim Harbaugh was quoted as saying that everybody in the locker room loves him and they feel bad that he's gotten a lot of shit from the media about not playing well last year. And he had 5 for 51 and 2 touchdowns. Bryce Young on the other side, 18 for 26, 84 yards. He completed 18 passes, a play where you take the ball and throw it to somebody else who could be anywhere on the field. And he completed 18 of these passes for a total of 84 yards. 0 touchdowns, obviously. and an interception. Sacked who knows how many times. And where did it lead him? Benched 2 weeks into his sophomore season. 13 total points for the Panthers through the first 2 weeks of the season. And Andy Dalton is probably just as surprised as the rest of us. He is starting week 3 for the Carolina Panthers. Dave Canales is already fucking done with Bryce Young. He is done. It's like, who's that guy that got fired after 5 weeks? Was it Nat Hackett? It's like the same situation. It's like, we know that you're bad already. And you're done. Bryce Young, dude. And it just, the Texans trade, it just looks worse and worse as time goes on. He never makes it look better for the Panthers.
So the running backs were more productive. On 17 carries, they got the same amount of yards as Bryce Young on 18 completions. All right, let's talk about the benching. Was it, let's not say reasonable, let's say considering the team that he was playing with last year, considering the rope that you would give to a number 1 draft pick, is this justified?
100%. This guy's a fucking dumpster fire, dude. He's so fucking bad. On my phone right now, I am pulling up Andy Dalton's game log. Here we go. 2023. It was early in the season. Yeah, he played 1 game last year. This is insane. This is not what I thought it was. It's better. They lost to the Seahawks 37-27. Dude, 27 points is more than double what Bryce Young has put up so far this season through 2 weeks. He was 34 for 58 for 361 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. And he was sacked 3 times, but they put up 27 points. And Adam Thielen and Deontay Johnson are the headliners for their receiving core, and they both had like 2 catches for 20 yards in this past game. Adam Thielen in this game that I'm talking about, the Andy Dalton game, 11 catches for 145 and a touchdown. DJ Chark had 4 for 86 and a touchdown. And then Miles Sanders, Terrence Marshall, and Jonathan Mingo all had like 5 for 40.
Okay,
He's
so
fucking spreading it out.
dude,
The
it
number
is
1 guy's getting the
clear.
ball.
It's obvious. Yes, dude. Yes. We got it. Andy Dalton is and has been an NFL quarterback.
Yeah.
He
And you're
will
trying
be
to make
better.
the argument. Go ahead.
Okay, go. I'm trying to make the argument for the sake of the love that everybody has for we have to keep on keeping on, keep thinking and keep valuing every player by when they get drafted. It's Carolina's fault that Bryce Young is a first overall pick bust. It's not Bryce Young's fault that he's a number 1 first overall pick bust. Carolina is a fucking dumpster fire. And yes, dude, it might have been just, it might have been reasonable to bench Bryce Young. But what do you do now? You just burn that bridge and you're moving forward with Andy Dalton for how long? What are you going to do with Andy Dalton? How many years is the Red Rocket going to be rocketing around?
All right, dude.
Like, what do the Panthers do? What are they doing? What are they doing? What do they do?
All right. Valid point about what is the plan. That's 100% fair. Dude, Dave Canales just took this job. And
He said Bryce Young is my quarterback last week.
Dude, at the same time, like, it might just be like, this is Dave Canales' first season, so last season means nothing to him in terms of Bryce Young's playing time or any of that shit. Like, You tried out we'll just call him a rookie this year because he's so bad. You tried out the young guy in the first 2 weeks. It's not working out. You got to start building a culture. You got to start seeing what you have in the receivers and the running backs. You got to start seeing what you have, dude. So you have to put somebody in there competent to see what the rest of the team is. Right now, you can't possibly judge how the defense is doing, how the run game is doing, how the receivers. You can't judge any of that shit. So I think that he's doing it just to see how the rest of the team is and what they have to do. And then let Bryce sit on the bench. Let him learn. Let him take his time to learn the offense and develop, like we were talking about before, with college quarterbacks. Wasn't his time to
It's
start?
irreparable damage.
Possibly. It's up to Bryce at that point, dude. It's not up to
I
anybody
know.
else but him.
I know, and it's
This isn't more of an
likely that he
opportunity
ends up
than it
at
is.
another team than he ends up starting for the Panthers. I agree. I don't know if you even think that. I just like you, like David Tepper, whoever their fucking owner is, whoever their fucking GM is. It's like you're on borrowed time at this point. Like they're gonna bring in the next regime and they're gonna move forward with the team because this was such a horrible decision, dumpster fire, whatever you want to call it. And like, how can you have faith that those guys are going to be able to put together a winning team going forward?
Yeah, or pick the next guy, right? All right. Next game. Browns at Jags. Browns win 18-13. The Browns are this year's Steelers Falcons risk, where another team with remarkably bad quarterback play. And then on the other side of it, what the fuck is going on with Trevor Lawrence, dude? This guy's so bad. This is the Jags drives. Punt. These are their drives in order for the whole game. They only had like 9. Punt, 3 and out, field goal. 3 and out, missed field goal. Touchdown, field goal. Oh, we're back in it. Nope. Safety. Safety on the first play of the drive. And then the last drive of the game, they ran out of time. Browns, even worse. Touchdown, field goal. Wow, we're flying through the neutral zone. That's the first half, all of their drives. Second half, this is where the building is aflame. 3 and out, field goal. Wow, yeah, good stuff. Punt, 3 and out, 12 play, 29-yard drive. That ends in a punt because they fucked it up so bad. In 2 plays, they were able to find a way to line up on third down with 36 yards to go before the first down marker. 3rd and 36. And Deshaun runs it up the middle for 5 yards, and they end up punting on a play that they started first down from like Jacksonville's 25, and they end up punting on that drive. And and of course, dude, like typical bad team, super lucky. That punt is the punt that gets downed at the 2-yard line, and bad team on the other side, safety. So they punted that drive, the 12 play, 29 yards that punted. I said punted so many times. They were up 3, about to push it to a 2-possession game on that drive, or at least more than a field goal, and they end up punting and getting their way anyway with the safety. And now they're so they're up 5 when the Jags get the ball back, and they just end up stalling out at like the 30, and they just lose. I hate the Browns. I hate the Browns, and I hate the Jags. I had to look at my notes to read those 2 sentences. That's all I wrote. That's all I have for both, dude. What a huge disappointment from both sides. Some people, Cousin Sal had the Browns winning this division. And the crazy thing is, they're ahead of the Bengals and Ravens in the standings. And if Deshaun Watson turns into some form of competency, that they still have a chance. The Jags, dude. I'm done with the Jags. I'm done.
Trevor Lawrence just cannot complete passes.
Mm,
Top 3 receivers had more or as many drops or incompletions as they did catches.
mm.
They just can't play well consistently for 60 minutes, and they have no chance until either Trevor Lawrence picks it up or the offense does in general. 86 yards of total offense in the first half. Cleveland is nothing if not a top defense, but they've got a serious QB decision to make in the coming weeks and at the latest at the end of the season. They have to decide about Deshaun by the end of the season at the latest.
Yeah, the money's already gone. $230 million guaranteed. You gotta fucking move on at this point.
It just feels like after this string of like all these young guys getting paid, I don't think anybody's going to get paid for a long time.
Yeah, that's what you think, but QBs are so sought after. Dude, the demand is just so much higher than the supply, and like Tua got a big deal, Trevor Lawrence got a big deal. These guys didn't even do anything. It's crazy, dude. It might take a while for that to kind of flip, where
Yeah,
like
that's why
there's
I'm
no
saying I don't
QB
think-
market.
Yeah, I don't think any of
There's
these
no-
guys are going to keep getting paid because QBs aren't making a good name for themselves right now.
There's no middle of the road QB market. Like the only guys that you're getting at that middle market, DJ, Geno Smith, Derek Carr, and Geno and
Just say guys that aren't on their rookie deal anymore.
well, no,
Sam Darnold.
well, no. What I'm saying is that like those are guys that had either reasonable, like Geno had the really good season when it was time for him to sign a new contract, the best of his career. Derek Carr was coming off of a max deal with the Raiders and signed because it was his post max deal kind of contract that he was getting. And then DJ got the middle of the road one because he fucking sucks and didn't have a choice. But outside of that, it's like there's only the top tier quarterback pay, like Tua, like Jalen Hurts, like Trevor Lawrence. Lamar wouldn't sign until he got a full deal, but he's an MVP. But it should only be like 3 or 4 guys that are getting paid that max money. But it's either you're getting max or you're in your third contract. Like there's no middle, dude. It's crazy. And it's just fucking teams over. It's like Deshaun Watson, dude. There's no reason that guy should have got a max deal. And whether that was the Browns being just dumb or the market from other teams was that high also for him, either way, dude, a guy who hasn't played in 2 years and has a fucking ongoing scandal, how the fuck did he get a max deal? Doesn't make any
Because
sense.
he had like an MVP-esque season, and then the following season he got hurt, and then he didn't play for a while. The assumption was that he was going to go back to being an MVP level player.
Yeah, dude, the Browns, it's just like these organizations that just repeatedly make the same stupid mistakes. The Jets, I mean, the Jags are kind of in that boat at this point. They didn't have to sign Trevor Lawrence, dude. That guy, throw out making the playoffs, throw out making a Super Bowl. That guy didn't have a winning record before he fucking signed a max deal. It's insane. All right, Raiders at Ravens. Raiders sneak this one out 26-23. 9-6 Baltimore at half. Super slow start from both squads. Derrick Henry was getting absolutely nowhere. Dude, Derrick Henry's on my fantasy team. He had like 5 rush yards at half. Finished the game with 84 and a touchdown. So like both teams woke up in the second half, but the Raiders were down 10 points in the fourth quarter. Baltimore scores a touchdown to push it to 10 with 12:11 left. Vegas field goal at 9 minutes. Baltimore 3 and out. Vegas touchdown with 4 minutes left. Baltimore 3 and out. Vegas field goal, 27 seconds left. Game's over. And it's just all of a sudden, like, dude, the Raiders had no run game. Total team rushing, 27 fucking yards. But Gardner Minshew and Devontae Adams pulled this one out of their ass on absolutely embarrassing stuff from Baltimore.
So in my notes, I'm just gonna go over like the end of the game again. So Baltimore scored their last points with 12 minutes left in the fourth quarter, like you said. Up 23-13, they gave up 13 points on their last three defensive drives while Lamar went three and out two times, like you said. And then on the last drive, with 27 seconds left to drive down the field, do what his current contemporaries do. The guys that, get paid as much as him. Lamar ran for 11 yards when they started their drive at the 30-yard line. He ran for 11 yards with 27 seconds left. He ran. They took the timeout. They were at the 41. He incomplete 2 passes in a row. And then, I'm gonna run again, and then we're gonna do the fucking lateral shit because he isn't a quarterback. He can't do what QBs do. He tried to do what QBs do, pouring it on, trying to get more points on the board after they scored a touchdown in the second half. He throws an interception on the following drive. He's not a quarterback. I'm done.
Dude, also that
0-2 after a loss to the Raiders?
whoa.
It's over.
And dude, that last play that you're talking about where he chose to ran, there was a lot of open field on that last play. And like the mindset is that you're going to run and start it off for us, but you're going to look to lateral. If he had it in his mind, I'm the only one that's going to touch this ball and I'm going to try to juke everybody to score, I think he had a really good chance of actually scoring on that play, dude, because he ran like 40 yards down the field completely untouched with nobody around him. And then he had receivers down the field blocking for him, and it's fucking Lamar Jackson, like one of the most elusive players in the history of the game. Like, I feel like he could have made it happen and score there, but he decides to lateral it, gives it to somebody, and doesn't give them an opportunity to do anything with it. That guy takes it and forward passes it 5 yards on the next lateral. Like, it was just a disaster. But yeah, dude, you're right. When it Mahomes has the famous 13 seconds drive and over and over, like what did he have this weekend? He had they had the PI to help them out.
Yeah.
But there was only like 35 seconds on the clock when he got the ball back. And yeah, dude, you're right. It's just not throwing the ball when it matters that Lamar cannot. He just can't do it with the rest of the guys that are in his class. So, but yeah, overall, dude, just super embarrassing loss for the Ravens because we know that this Raiders team is going to finish like 7-10, and the Ravens are now going to be fighting to get back in the fucking division race, let alone the AFC race.
I'm just done with the Lamar Jackson defenders, and I want to give props to the Raiders here. They could have given up plenty of times in this one. They're not a good team. It doesn't look like they're going to be contending. Obviously, any team is going to play as hard as they can for 60 minutes. Every guy is fighting for their job, but they go down 10 in the beginning of the second half, fight back, go down again by 10 with 12 minutes left. They come back. Antonio Pierce?
Nah, I'm good. Nah, I'm good. No, I'm not gonna feed into any type of Antonio Pierce is a good coach stuff yet. There's no shot. And Gardner Minshew, guy's definitely a vibe. I mean, if you could just fucking suitcase your way into a bunch of starting roles and lose games with bad teams against better ones consistently, yeah, dude, I'm a fan of his, but I'm not gonna go farther than that. I'm good. All right, we got 5 games left.
Mm-hmm.
Rams at Cardinals. Yeah, dude. Why don't you take this one away?
It's the boy. It's the boy. Games like this make me really happy. So we're on red zone. We didn't really flip to a game yet. Really not paying the closest attention. But I just hear the announcer for the game, an Arizona game. The score is, I think, 14-0. I see in the bottom right corner, it says Kyler Murray, 5 for 6 for 136 yards and 2 touchdowns or 1 touchdown. And I just hear the announcer say, and Marvin Harrison with his breakout start to his season with 4 catches for 131 yards. It's just like, okay, that's how that's going. And I'm watching the game, and Kyler's dancing around pressure. He's flying around, and the game was out of reach real quick. I love this team, dude. I love the Cardinals. They're gonna be one of my teams all year. I think they're gonna make the playoffs now. Like now that I'm seeing it all come together, like James Conner is an absolute horse. Like their defense is playing hard. Now, Rams, they lost Cooper Cup early on. They're throwing to Demarcus Robinson and co the rest of the game. Their run game has never been anything to write home about. Arizona got ahead early. This one was out of reach quick. Rams thoughts? Like, what do we do now? What's happening? Both of their receivers look like they're hurt. They're going to be heavily feeding Kyron going forward, probably. Matter of time before he gets hurt again. What do the Rams do? They need to get these guys back out on the field.
Well, I mean, you say right away that they're going to feed Kyron the ball. I think that they were trying to do that at some point in this game. They started with a 4-play TOD, a 3-and-out of -2 yards, a 3-and-out of 6 yards. They had a field goal drive, a 3-and-out of -4 yards, a turnover on downs, a 3-and-out, and then they scored their first touchdown to make it 34-10 in the third quarter. So my thing here is like between like one name that comes off top of my head right now is that guy Gardeck, the long-haired white guy. He was getting to Stafford. Pretty sure he had 2 or 3 sacks in the first half. And then these guys are getting the TFLs with the run game. Like, dude, Arizona was just flying around the neutral zone. Like, that's really all I could say. Like, it's just one of those games that we've seen recently. I'm gonna reference it again. I'm gonna say Bills Dolphins from Thursday night. I'm gonna say Packers Cowboys from last year's playoffs. I'm going to say the 2 Saints games where it's just they just fucking run out to this lead right away, and then it's just like, what are we going to do here? Your whole game plan has to change. And then when Cup goes down, it's just like, fuck. What are they going to do in the future? I mean, with Cup and Nakua out, it's just an unbelievable turn of events for them because their defense wasn't their, blue chip part of their team, and those 2 guys were. So with an aging quarterback and no receivers, they might just fucking lose the next 4 or 5 games, dude. I don't believe in them at all right now.
Yeah, their whole draw was, we got a young defense. We just lost Aaron Donald, and we're gonna stay competitive and stay in games. We're gonna light up the scoreboard, but now they don't have the tools to light up the scoreboard. So I don't know how they win games. Like Sean McVay is one of these elite coaches. One of these elite offensive play callers. What does he do? What does he do to work his magic? Like, let's monitor some of the waiver wire plays that he makes. Because, yeah, dude, they need to figure something out right now, or they are donezo.
They combined for 20 carries, 53 yards, with a long of 9. Stafford was sacked 5 times. I don't know, dude, but I'm definitely on board with Arizona because you have your workhorse running back. This Trey Benson guy, 11 carries for 10 yards. I didn't think he looked good at all. When he got the ball in the backfield, it just looked like he wasn't hitting the hole hard, and by that time he was getting swallowed up. James Conner, though,
bouncing it to the outside every time.
Exactly, yeah, and then not getting vertical. But James Conner, they have their workhorse running back. They have their super athletic elite quarterback. They have their number one wide receiver. They have their, Travis Kelce-esque workhorse, or reliable tight end. And, between Dortch and Michael Wilson to fill in the blanks, that offense should be fucking pumping. Kyler with the.
You know what? It reminds me of the
the-
Stephon Diggs Bills. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, is James Conner better than anything the Bills had at running back during those years? Probably.
Yeah, probably. I'm just thinking like Dortch and Michael Wilson are like a Gabe Davis, Khalil Shakir to me.
Mm-hmm. I agree. All right, Steelers Broncos. Miserable football. 13-6. Steelers moved to 2-0 under Justin Fields. Justin Fields, 13 for 21, 17 and a touchdown. He won a football game. They ran it 36 times for 141 yards. I got nothing here, dude. Is there a single thing that we could talk about? Bo Nix, 2 picks, no touchdowns. He led them in rushing with 4 carries. He led their team in rushing.
Oh, boy.
Cortland Sutton, I had really high hopes for that guy. Dude, if I can, in my other league, sign the guys that I want off the waiver wire, Cortland Sutton is the guy that's getting dropped. I understand Pittsburgh's defense is really good and Bo Nix is a rookie quarterback, but I don't see Cortland Sutton ever getting to the point this season where he sees 12 targets in a game. There's no reason to keep that guy around. And they don't throw it down the field at all. Denver, dude. Denver, let's look at their schedule the next couple weeks to see if there's any type of hope. They got the Bucks. Then they have the Jets. Raiders, Chargers. Actually, there is hope here. Saints, Panthers, Ravens, Chiefs, Falcons. Listen, their division sucks.
Dude, what was that?
What?
You're like, actually, they do have hope. And then you're like, Saints. And
Well, Saints, Panthers.
who was before the Saints?
Chargers, Raiders, Jets.
Chargers are going to shit on them.
I'm just saying, dude, it's not the very best teams in the league. They have a bunch of winnable games, or at least games that you could see some growth out of Bo Nix. It's not like they're seeing this powerhouse set of teams. They got their division coming up big time. Raiders, Broncos.
So I see here
Raiders,
Dolchich
Chargers.
has 8 targets. And
Dolchich?
yeah. And he had 3 catches for 16 yards. Who on the Steelers, who's the linebacker that's covering the tight ends?
Patrick Queen.
Okay.
Dude, they are fucking loaded. What are you talking about? Minka Fitzpatrick. Put him on a tight end. Locked up. Dude, they're loaded. Don't ask me fucking questions about if the Pittsburgh Steelers can cover Greg Dolchich. That's a low point in this podcast.
I'm surprised that they struggled to run the ball so much. Like, are the Steelers that fucking OP?
They're 2-0.
Like, they were down 2 scores all game. Yeah, you have to pass the ball 35 times, but I mean, I guess that was the story of the game. They definitely would have ran the ball more if they were, but they just weren't effective at all.
Dude, they ran the ball 20 times. They're just bad.
Yeah, but they had to pass because they were down all game. They didn't score until the 4th quarter.
Yeah, dude, they're terrible. Like, we don't.
It's a rookie quarterback with not a very good team. We put a lot of faith into Sean Payton.
And it might work out down the road, but right now it definitely is not happening, especially against that Pittsburgh team. We'll see how they do with the rest of the year.
And we're gonna keep sleeping on Pittsburgh. Like I'm gonna say sleeping on them because we're not actually gonna be talking about them a whole lot. But like just the understanding that, yeah, it seems like it works with Justin Fields. They just have to run the ball, and their defense is all world. Like, what else can you say?
All right, Bengals Chiefs. Um, Typical way for the Chiefs to win. Another note, thank God the Bengals aren't really bad. Another note, Rashee Rice is really fucking good. Another note, Pacheco breaks his arm. Another note, Mike Gesicki's the favorite target on this Bengals team. There's a lot of random shit going on here. Zach Moss, 12 carries for 34 yards. Jamar Chase, 4 catches on 5 targets. Did they forget how good that guy is?
Trent McDuffie's all pro, bro.
I mean, I get that. And Jamar Chase was throwing a hissy fit at the end of the game. Yikes, yuck. Joe Burrow seemed really pissed off that the Chiefs won the game that the way that they did. Some people
Yeah.
were arguing, like Bengals diehards are saying that it was a bullshit call. It's the most
Nah, it was a
blatant PI I've
call.
ever seen.
They fucked up when they changed that call, dude. When they changed that from being 15 yards to spot of the foul, they fucked up.
Why?
Because offensive teams, offensive comebacks always have a chance for that friggin' play. I know it's just turn around, play the ball the right way. In this case, don't hit him that early. But pass interference shouldn't be spot of the foul. Quarterbacks can just throw deep balls and pray for a flag.
Yeah.
It can be like a 60 fucking yard penalty, dude. It's
Yeah. Not the
unbelievable.
Giants, though. Giants would never do that. No common sense in that locker room. Dude, this game was 1, 2, 3, 4. Basically, every time someone scored in this game, it either tied it or they took the lead. Every single score. It was just a classic. This game is a classic, and we're gonna remember it forever because of the PI call at the end. And then, let's see. I wanted to check. So there's 48 seconds left. The PI happens, and they get the ball at the 36-yard line, and they run the ball 3 times in a row. Basically, so they're at the 36, and they're like, "We're close enough. Like, we don't need to get more yards." Harrison Butker has an absolute fucking cannon of a leg, and he's done this a million times. We're good. 38 seconds left. So they just run the ball, position it where they want it, and then he just kicks a game winner right down the pipes. No doubter.
It's interesting you brought it up like that because I think, like, I guess Andy Reid in this situation where it's like, we're playing the time, we're not playing the points. Like, I know it would make a lot of sense to go for the touchdown, to go for the end zone, to get the extra home and auto, but if we can run this clock out and then kick a field goal because all we need is 3 points.
No, I'm saying like they didn't try to get closer for the field goal. I didn't think they were going to take any shots to the end zone, especially with only one timeout left. But they just ran it right up the middle, just trying to bleed clock because they were so comfortable with that spot
Yeah.
of a 50-plus yarder. Like, dude, you think that Dable, like if I'm the Giants, I'm thinking that the Giants are going to run like a bunch of pass plays towards the sideline to try to get an extra 10, 15 yards and get more in the range of like a 40 to 45 yard or something a little more
Yeah, I
comfortable.
mean,
Chiefs are like,
36
fuck.
yarder is what, a 50.
Wait, what?
If
They're
you're
on
at
the
the
36.
if you're at
So
the
that's it.
36 yard line, that's a 53.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I think for NFL kickers these days, if it's under 58, most guys are going for it, and most teams feel pretty comfortable about it.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what I'm saying is that the Chiefs and what we know about them and how good they are at calling plays and scheming up little bullshit to get a couple yards, like, you would think that maybe with 38 seconds left on a timeout that they would try to pick up 10 to 15 yards, and I'm just saying that they got to that 36 and they were like, "We're fucking good. We don't need anything else." It's crazy.
Maybe they really planned on being a lot better at running the ball at the end. But at that point, did they
True.
have Pacheco?
No, it was Carson Steele. So that's the other part of it. Carson Steele fumbled earlier in the game. So, yeah. All right. Moving forward, excited to see the Bengals play again. The Chiefs seem like, once again, they can win any and all types of games, and that Mahomes is just continuing to prove that he's the best fucking player ever. All right, Texans Bears. Yeah, you said this at the very beginning of the podcast, but once again, none of the rookies have thrown a passing touchdown. Caleb Williams was sacked 7 times. This guy was absolutely fucking throttled. Dude, you could see his face during the game, like, red. Like, he was so rattled, and he was so exhausted, and he was so just like, this is my welcome to the NFL moment. Like, they fucking destroyed this guy all game.
He is very disappointing to watch so far. He just looks like everything is happening too fast, and he's scared. And he looks a lot smaller. And he's taking huge hits, like you're saying. Like CJ Stroud talked to him after the game, gave him some nice inspiring words, and he was like, yeah, stop taking so many big hits, man. What are we doing?
Did he say that?
Yeah, the beginning of what he said, he was like, hey man, stop taking so many big hits. And then Caleb started walking away, and then he was like, for real, man, like, believe in yourself, like, you're gonna be a great player in this league.
That's fucking awesome to hear that. That's really cool. Dude, Nico Collins. What pissed me off about drafting in fantasy was that, like, it was like Nico Collins 227 projected points, Stephon Diggs 222, Tank Dell 209. And it's like that you're basically telling us that you don't know who's going to be the dog. And it's like, who's the dog? By far in the first 2 weeks of the season for this Texans team, and it's Nico Collins. He has, in total for the season, 14 catches, 252 yards, and a touchdown. Dude. He's a fucking beast. Both games over 100 yards, both games at least 6 catches. He's a dog. He is a dog. Diggs 4 for 37. Start the timer on when he's going to explode. Mixon, after his massive performance in week 1 with 30 carries, only ran the ball 9 times for 25 yards. I think the Bears defense is pretty good. I just think that the Nico Collins Stroud thing that's the only thing they couldn't stop. Diggs was the second leading receiver with 37 yards, and their run game was 22 for 75. The only thing they couldn't stop was Nico Collins.
22 for 75 isn't that bad.
3.4 yards per carry.
I'll take over 3 as a team.
Stop,
dude. As a team, what did their leading carrier do?
Cam Akers 7 for 32. Come on, dude.
Almost 5.
Okay, here's a more interesting stat. Cam Akers' long was 13, so he was 6 for 19. So that's 3 yards a carry. Joe Mixon's long was 16. He was 8 for 9 yards outside of that. Tank Dell, 3 for 16 with a long of 18. He was -2 on the other 2 carries.
Dude, he's
And
a
that's it.
wide receiver.
Fuck you, dude. I'm just saying. There's nothing to be proud of with these rushing numbers for the Texans, and you should like eliminate it from your vocabulary to say that 3 yards per carry is acceptable for a team.
You said 22 for 75, and I said that was like okay, and then you were like, dude, what are you talking about? 7 for 32. It's like, yeah, dude, that's almost 5. That's great.
Yeah, with a long of 13, he's averaging 3 yards per carry. I'm doing that shit again
Dude,
this year.
that's most NFL running backs.
Dude, there is no situation where as a team, 3 yards per carry is good. That's 30 for 90. That's why are we still running the football?
I
There's
don't
no
think
shot.
that's that bad.
Okay, we're done. We're moving on. I think that we both agree that the Texans are legitimate. I think that the Bears defense is a good takeaway from this one as being legit. I think that the Texans are legit on both sides of the football, and I think Caleb Williams is going to be much better next game. What do you got?
Yeah, we're on the Bears next week.
Buzzing. All right, last game. We are an hour and 40 in. Falcons, Eagles. You got to take the reins.
Oh boy. I got to Tyler's house right before halftime. Yeah, let's kind of just break down what we know about this game. Now, Philly sounds like they're really disappointed in Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts yet again on another game-winning drive situation. Not a whole lot of time, but yeah, threw another horrible pick in double coverage. Saquon Barkley came up short in a couple situations. They needed big first downs. They definitely needed a touchdown at the end of the game. He didn't punch it in. I think Jalen Hurts ended up punching it in later on that drive. But at the very end of the game, to seal the game, the Eagles are up by 6, I believe. Instead of trying to run the ball to force another timeout and run clock, actually, I don't think the Falcons had any timeouts left. The Eagles passed the ball on 3rd and 3 with short field, and Saquon dropped the pass. 3rd and 3, right in his hands. You could take Saquon off the Giants, but you can't take the Giants out of Saquon.
Ghetto Gronk.
They end up kicking the field goal. Yeah, no, I think they were up 3. Kicked the field goal instead of running the clock out. Gave the ball back to the Falcons with, I think, just under 2 minutes left.
139.
And then Kirk Magic. 2 passes to Darnell Mooney way down the field. And then a Drake London disgusto move.
Yeah, that was fucking nasty.
On Darius Slay. Darius Slay, public apology to Philly after the game.
No. Dude, there was only 4 punts in this game. It's only 22-21, but both teams traded punts on their first drive. Eagles turned it over on downs. Typical. Couldn't just fucking take the points. Let's see where they were on the field. They were at Atlanta's 9-yard line. It's a difference in the game. It's a difference in the game right there. Chip shot field goal with one of the best kickers in the fucking NFL. They trade punts again. And then it's field goal, touchdown, field goal, field goal, field goal, touchdown, touchdown. Atlanta turns it over on downs, field goal, touchdown. And then the pick on the last play of the game. But, dude, there was scoring on both sides. Moving the ball on both sides, except for those 2 first drives. Kirky, 20 for 21, 20 for 29, 241, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Only sacked once. You say he's immobile. Must have been doing something right back there. Only sacked once. Bijan, 14 for 97. Tyler Algier, 9 for 53. 5.4 yards per carry as a team. See, that's a good day. That's a good day. Running the football, no 3 yards per carry. You got me upset about that, dude.
Philly's defense is bad.
Yeah. But dude, I feel like it took a long time for the Falcons to get going.
Kirk, he had that long touchdown in the third quarter, I think it was. He completed the pass right before that, and I think they ran a no huddle, and Kirk was kind of under pressure, and he threw like kind of fading away, and he threw that touchdown pass, and I was like, yeah, Kirk's back. And then they obviously got the ball back and went on that drive, but it just felt like something clicked.
Darnell Mooney, dude,
The
making
boy.
the big plays. He had 3 catches in this game. One was the long touchdown, and the other 2 were both on the last drive of the game. That was the game winner. Drake London, quiet game. Dude, they're running a lot of bullshit short plays. I only saw a couple plays in this game with the Falcons on offense, but I saw like 4 of Drake London's 6 catches, and all of them were little flat routes and out routes that he was like dipping and diving and dodging on the sideline, tiptoeing for 2 extra yards. But that touchdown route was absolutely ridiculous. Apparently, Kirk missed Ray McLeod on a deep ball late at the game
Oh my
where he
god.
was wide open.
Oh my god. Yeah, it was so bad. He pulled the trigger so quickly on like a tight end seam, but you could just see like there is no one back there, and he's just by himself running.
All right, maybe the Falcons have a little bit of kinks to work out. But also saw one play. It was like an Eagles fan reacting to the Falcons game, like to that game, and it was Devontae Smith lined up in the slot, and they were on the 10-yard line, and Jesse Bates was playing man coverage on him, but Jesse Bates was 3 yards into the end zone. So he was 13 yards off of him, and they run like an out route where he runs to the goal line and cuts to the pylon, and Jesse Bates, he catches it, and Jesse Bates comes with the over the back hammer punch out. And the guy's just like, okay. My
He
bad.
he's top 3 safety, dude. He's playing so well.
Yeah, he's unreal.
He's so dominant.
12 tackles, led the team, 1 TFL. He's a beast.
Mhm.
All right. Moving forward, I'm not sold on the Eagles whatsoever. I think they have a lot more problems than they realize, even though they have so much going for them. And the Falcons, I feel like they're going to have a late season push. I think for some reason it's going to take them a while to get going here, but they're super talented.
Yeah, they got you know, they're bringing in a new quarterback, so it'll take some time to work out the kinks, like you said. I'm not surprised that their things aren't running smoothly at all right now. I'm just like I don't have a whole lot of confidence that they're going to be this like top offense this year, but I think if they figure it out, they're going to be like the Bucks, where it's like that's like a really just balanced team, strong on defense, strong on offense. And I think their potential, them running at like everything firing at all cylinders, I think they're better than the Bucks.
All right. To wrap up the pod, I want to ask you a couple questions. Who do you think is leading the league in pass yards?
Um, Jared Goff.
He's number 4. It's Brock.
Wow.
Brock is leading in pass yards. Some surprises as to who's at the top. Gardner Minshew is 3. Lamar Jackson is 5. And these are only like 10, 20-yard differences between these guys. Sam Darnold is 9. Derek Carr, even though they've put up 91 points, is middle of the pack. Here's a surprise. Josh Allen is 22nd. But you know that
What I love
offense
to
is
see.
fucking humming.
What I love to see.
Justin Herbert, 27th.
Yeah.
Um, Bryce Young is last. Bryce Young is last for all quarterbacks that have played more than one game. Jordan Love has more than him. Jordan Love. All right, rushing. Who do you think is leading the league in rushing?
Jacobs.
He's third. The top two guys are people that there's no fucking way in hell anyone could have imagined this to be the case after 2 weeks.
Ramondre.
Now he's 5.
JK.
J.K.
Next.
Dobbins and Jordan Mason. Saquon, of course, number 4. Kamara's 6. James Conner's up there. Yeah. All right, receiving. Last thing I'm gonna do.
God. Oh God. All right. Tell me if this guy is top 15. Brian Thomas.
What the fuck, dude? No, he's not. He's 20,
All right.
actually. He's 20.
Okay. Because he's had like 5 catches maybe for like 180 yards.
He has 6 for 141.
Okay. All right. Number 1 receiver right now. You said Devontae had a crazy day yesterday. I don't think he did well in week 1. I don't know. I'll go JJ.
JJ's 5. It's a Nico. Nico Collins has 52 more yards than the next guy. Number 2 is Chris Godwin, and he's tied with Jamison Williams. Malik Neighbors is 4th in the league, dude. And he has more than JJ. Buzz. Alec Pierce is 6th.
Wait. Who was second
Chris Godwin.
and third?
Jamison Williams.
Vomit Central, dude. Vomit Central.
Dude, also, I have to mention this. The bachelor party group chat that I'm in, Zwalik threw it in the chat because there's no gambling in Texas. He threw it in the chat that everyone puts in one prop, and we're going to do an 11-legger. Have you seen those?
Wait, for a same gamer?
No, for the whole week.
Okay.
Have you seen those videos of like these bachelor parties that go places and like they end up like they'll go to Vegas and like put like all of the money that they won for the day on like one number in roulette and they win like 200K. It's just like these like random like bachelor parties just winning a fuck ton of money. So yeah, that's where the hopes and dreams are. I don't know how it's gonna work out, but yeah, the first prop that was thrown in there was Zeke touchdown. Classic. All right. This is the podcast. We're 2 hours in, and that's where we're going to end it.
Mm-hmm.
On to the next one. We'll be back maybe tomorrow with picks.
Thursday night.
Thursday is, I think, Jets, Pats. Yikes. Jets, Pats. Jets are 6.5 point favorites.
Yeah, I'm on the Pats.
I think I'm on the under. 38.5. 2 good defenses, 2 offenses that don't know left from right.
Who's home?
Jets. What were our records last week?
I went 10-8. You went 8-9.
Yeah. All right, this has been the CinqBoys podcast. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter.
All-time records. No, I'm going to do season records. You're 18-4. I am 14-18. Let it begin. Right. Let the race begin. I'm so glad we're at the same amount of picks so far.
Yeah. All right, bud.